Hi, my name is Gal, and this is Persistence Layer, an open source library written in Kenshu, which was written from day one to be performance oriented. So performance killer number one that we usually do in most of frameworks is that it is very convenient to our entity to have a save method. And we write it down, we have a save method, now we have million entities, no problem, loop and perform million queries. Easy to do, but not easy for the database. And database do support bulk operations, but this API is not the easiest. And even when a smart developer do dig into it and do a smart DAO, later on you wrap the DAO in a service, and you want to add some extra business logic and validate and fetch, and it's once again it's not easy. So we created a framework which makes it easy and keeping the bulk idea. Usually frameworks are not aware of the business logic, so you use whatever framework you want, like Hibernate, to create your DAO with a save method, and on top of that you do your service with validations and etc. etc. Persistence layer, on the other hand, spans over two layers, so you don't write your service anymore. This is generated, and you have places to plug in your validators or enrichers or side effect in a way that will allow the PL engine to run them in bulks. And now we're going to see a quick demo of how it is being done. Alright, hands-on time. Let's start with a blank project. Almost blank. It's Maven, and I added persistence layer as the only dependency. It is going to add Juke by itself with this version. And the first thing I do, regardless for any entity, is I need some connection string. I define it like this. So let's start by creating our first entity. Is going to be campaign. I want to sell stuff. I want to advertise stuff. But let's create a package for this. Oh, I forgot to tell you that in this demo I'm going to use a plugin for persistence layer. The plugin does a little wizard. So instead of creating classes, I'm going to create entity, PL entity, assuming I have a database table called campaigns. I want to call my entity campaign. The fields are ID, name, and budget. ID is an integer. This would be the primary key. Name is a varchar, and budget is an integer. And done. Some code generated in here. So this is the Juke table, as you know it. On top of that, there is entity, looks pretty much the same using Juke. Here there are a few commands that we are going to use, and this is a replacement for the service. This is where we are going to plug in our business rules. But let's write something. Let's create campaign persistence. Now let's save. Let's create, insert some commands. Now you can see that we encourage the developer to accept to work with bulks, to not work one by one. So I need to provide a list of campaigns. New create campaign with name shoes. Let's import all the field names. And with budget of $100. And since this is a bulk, let's create another one, shirts. And that's about it. This is how to create new entities. We also have update. but this would have to be update command. And we have something nice that is called upsert. Upsert, which is short for insert on duplicate update. Suppose I don't know if the campaign exists or not, and I want it to be create or update depending on what's in the database. So we'll do upsert campaign, but I need some identifier to know if it exists or not. So my key is going to be name. So if shoe did not exist, it is going to create them. If it does exist, it's going to update. With budget, increased budget. So this is insert, this is upsert, there is also delete and update. This is how we save a simple entity, and let's talk about some business rules. We want to have a validator. So simple validators, which you can find a bunch of them in the wiki, can be registered in here. Let's register some new field. This is the most simple one. It can validate a single field at a time. It will be the budget, which is an integer. So I will tell it that it's going to be budget. And the value, we do the following logic. If budget is smaller than 1, then return a new error. Else, no error. And this is a validator. I want my code to be better arranged than this, so I will extract it to a class of its own. Let's call you campaign budget validator. I don't want you here, I want you out. Extract, move. Yes, move. And this is a nice way to arrange the logic. I will put any piece of it in a different class and construct a business flow by just registering all the components. Nice way to arrange the code. Now in my main, I'm not really aware of it. If I would try to save a budget of 0, this specific entity will not be saved, but rather create will return me a list of errors. Now let's go to the next feature, relations. A nice relation would be one-to-many. Suppose one campaign could have many cities. Let's create a new city entity. New PL entity. Suppose I already have a table which is called campaign cities. This has no effect on the database, this is just code generation tool. Suppose it has its own ID, it has campaign ID, and it has a name. Integer, varchar, primary key. This should be foreign key to the campaign, but this wizard not yet supports it, so we are going to manually connect it. Let's see how it is done. So we have a city as an independent entity. Let's create a relation. Go to the table, campaign ID. It will be a foreign key to the campaign. Foreign key to the campaign ID. Nice. The second thing is we need to tell the campaign flow, but it contains a city flow as well. New campaign, new city. Right, I connected the two flows. So I have one-to-many relation. Now I can create campaign with cities in it. With new create city with city name of Tel Aviv and another one of Chicago. One campaign will be created with two cities. I don't need to worry about putting the campaign ID that is going to be generated by the database into the city ID, into the city campaign ID. This is automatic. And the final feature, suppose I want to take the list of cities in this campaign and replace it with another list. So let's add children to this guy. Let's do upsert city. The key will be the name of the city. And New York. Also, I do want to delete any other thing not in this list. This is what we call deletion of other city entity. The result would be that TLV will not be affected, New York City will be added, and Chicago will be deleted. This is how, and the result would be this list. If I have validator inside the city flow and it fails, it will fail the entire campaign because it is considered part of this campaign. So that was briefly the features of persistence layer. There's more information in the wiki with more detailed examples and how to do all the wiring yourself. Hope you have fun and bye bye.